what do you do specifically to keep yourself grounded, to keep that faith or to keep that focus where it needs to be? Because again, as artists, we're gonna have those days.
Yeah, I'm at a point in my life where I'm learning to not rely on my feelings, because feelings come and go.
Yep.
And same with like rejection, like that. You feel down, like, oh, people don't like what I'm doing. Doesn't matter whether people like what you're doing, they don't like what you're doing. You still have to do better. But this is where like power of habit comes in. Like habit will carry you where your inspiration will not.
Yeah.
And that's the power of consistency. When you have a habit, if I know that every day I go to the gym at this time, every day I train at this time, every day I read at this time, and I do that for days, for months, it's no longer, I don't have to think about it. So whether I feel up or down, it's already in my system to just like, it's like a machine. Like I'm scheduled to do this. So, and that will create results on its own, which will lead to, moments of success.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to season 2 of the Inspire to Inspire podcast. Today's episode, got a good friend of mine. He's a dancer. He's been all over the internet. Millions of people watch him. They love his videos. He's also been on So You Think You Can Dance, and he's just actually a really good dude. I'm excited to have him on the podcast today. We got Vik White, aka 𝐓𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤.
Yes,
Where does 𝐓𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤 come from?
My full name is 𝐓𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤.
Oh, dope.
So 𝐓𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤, the short version is Slavic. It makes sense in Ukrainian. It don't make sense in English.
You just feel like people can't like pronounce it.
Oh, they could not pronounce that. So it was Slavic, and then I was like, you know what, Vik, and then that's kind of like my,
That's what's up.
Just shorten it. Yeah.
I actually never knew that. I thought slavic was like just like the nickname. I was like,
No, that's
it's a cool name.
That's the actual name.
I rock with it. Yeah. Dude, so just to kind of hop straight into things, man. With every guest I have on here, the first question I always like to ask is like, what's your why? Like, why dancing? Out of anything you could have been doing in the world, why dancing?
Honestly, it's kind of, there's like a basic story to it, which is Michael Jackson, right?
Oh, shit.
Kind of like a lot of dancers, like they saw the moonwalk. So for me, it was like a mix of that. As a kid growing up in Ukraine, all I did was basically just like after school, me and my friends would just run around town, just like do whatever. So my mom saw I had a lot of energy. She was like, you should like, you want to like break dance? Just a random thing. I was like, that's kind of cool. And then around that same time, I saw my friend do like the moonwalk, and I was like, yo, that's cool. What is that? And then he introduced me to Michael Jackson, some of the songs, and it kind of like all of that worked together. And then I just committed to like the first thing. So honestly, that was the first thing that was throwing me in life. And I was just like, I'm just going to commit to it. And then it just, I feel like if it was, I don't know, soccer or like boxing or something else was throwing me, I'd just be like, I'm gonna stick to it. So it just happened to be dancing for whatever reason, whatever purpose. So, and I just went with it. And I took it like all the way.
I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, bro, I just want to get these girls. And honestly, it was working for me. And I was like, all right, so thanks. Hey, I love that answer.
That definitely contributes, and it definitely helps.
I'm not gonna lie, that's why I wanted to learn how to dance. I'm not at your level, but I was like, man, growing up, I was like, I need to learn how to dance, man, because this is what girls like. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to figure out. But it's cool because like for me, again, I got a different level of respect for dancers because my dad was a dancer, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I say this on a lot of podcast episodes when it comes to talking about dance, but I feel like dancers truly are some of the hardest working people in the business. And I feel like at the same time, you guys also kind of get treated the worst at certain times, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to like sometimes the way dancers are treated on tours or at the auditions, even when it comes to certain deals. So what I'm leading up to is like what I'm sure that a lot of other dancers in the community can relate to you on is the fact that like I love that you've built your own platform with your own social media presence through dancing to where you don't technically have to rely on an agent to get you a job, and for a lot of dancers right now, they're up and coming. Like, how does somebody separate themselves? Because I feel like a lot of dancers, just like actors, where, sometimes we get caught up on waiting for somebody to help us out.
Yeah.
Waiting for like an agent, a manager, waiting for somebody to like just get us in the room, not realizing that like you just stay consistent with your work, you can create those doors. So for you, where did like a lot of that start,
Honestly, I mean, it first starts with like a vision and you gotta be able to like take it to the end. So I never had a plan B. Like even I remember in 8th grade, so like that's really young. I made up my mind as to like everything I was gonna do. So from there, I already saw movies. I saw dancing. I saw. Oh, I didn't know how it was gonna happen. I didn't know like the medium is gonna come through, but I saw like the end from the beginning. I just didn't know the in between. So the in between, you just gotta have faith that it's gonna work out, and you can't overthink. You just gotta do it, and you gotta love doing it. So, and then everything in between is just consistency. You gotta like whatever it is that you pick. Like for me, it was dancing. Like I knew that that's gonna be like my gateway into like the industry, and I'm still very like in the very beginning process of like where I want to be. You know, I'm nowhere near like where I want to be. But yeah, for me, very early on, I kind of made up my mind, and I was in Oklahoma. Like nobody danced in my town. Nobody everybody was on like go to college, football games, like super traditional, like Midwest America. So I was like, at that time I was like, I'm not going to do that.
It's not gonna be the path.
Yeah. So as soon as I graduated, I was like, okay, well, this is what I want. I just need to go to West Coast, went to West Coast. And then from there, it's just like, let's figure it out. I need to train. I need to get better. What do I need to do? Just take one step at a time instead of thinking of like the big goal. You're just like, okay, that's where I need to be. But like, you can't just look at it. You just have to like look down one step at a time. Okay, I need to train. I need to get better at dancing. One thing led to another. You meet people that help you because you can't do this on your own. And then from there, one thing leads to another. I meet somebody who tells me, "Do so you think you can dance?" I was like, "Why not?" From there, I meet people. Boom, I get inspired. That leads to the next thing. So all of that was those in betweens, and that just and that's the consistency I'm talking about. You got to be able to just take it one step at a time, and you got to commit. You can't be like up and down, be going off of like your inspiration. It has to be like when you're not inspired, can you still do the same thing?
What I love about your story is like you're committed to the process. And I feel like the most powerful thing you said in the statement, you're like, yo, I wasn't really focused so much on the long-term goal.
Yeah.
And I love that, and I resonate with that because like I feel like it's important to like have that vision, have the dream, have the goal, but then like at some point there has to be like this faith to like letting go and just doing the work.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about your story. You're like, okay, well, I know I wanted to do, but I know it's gonna require a process. And to me, I guess the curiosity kind of goes to where it's like, I know you're from Ukraine.
Yeah.
So like you're not just like from America, bro.
No.
Like you're coming from another country.
Very random.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, how did that even happen? How did that transfer?
Bro, I be thinking about it every day. How is it that looking back, like I would have never imagined like in my like, I don't know, 9 years of age that I'd be like living in America. I grew up watching movies like, oh, that's so cool. Like, and then if I was to look in the future and I'm here, I don't know how it happened. It's just one thing led to another. I ended up here, and honestly, it was like, because I started dancing in Ukraine. So with like, even then, I already committed, like, I want to dance, I want to do this. Watching American movies, that's what got me inspired into like, I want to be an actor too. Like, that just seems like, it's something about storytelling, and dancing is all about storytelling too.
Absolutely.
So that's why I feel like,
absolutely,
that's where like passion for acting kind of like arose like early in my age. I don't know, man. It's just one thing led to another. I ended up in this country, and then one thing led to another. I met another person that just led me to this place, and then it's just like I ended up where I am. I don't know.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
This got brought up to me this past week, and it kind of like mind boggled me because I feel like it was hard for me to get down to the answer of this. I feel like I found the answer, but here's the question.
Okay.
Do you believe that you have the ability to change your destiny, or is your fate already written out for you?
I believe everybody has a purpose, and I think you can shape your life based off of like your seeds. So like, I believe everything in life is seed time harvest. Whatever you do, it's gonna like, every little thing is gonna have a consequence. Everything you do for yourself is gonna have a consequence. Everything you do to others is also gonna affect you. So even what you do to others is not just one way. No, it's going to reciprocate, it's going to come back. So I believe you can shape your life, and you can have whatever you want based off of things you say, based off of things you do to others, based off of your approach to yourself. So if you live your life in a way where it's not just all about you, selfish, even though some people are like, yeah, self-love, like grind, like that's cool, that's good, like that's hard work, but you're still only focused on yourself. And you're going to get a certain level of success, but I believe that's like, you can accomplish certain kind of purpose, but I believe that we were put on this earth to not just take care of ourselves, just take care of others, and that way you get taken care of somehow. Sorry, just to answer, because I feel like I went off on a tangent.
Go ahead.
To answer the question, I believe everybody has a purpose, and you can you shape that. So it's not like it's predestined. In a way, you have the power to like create it.
Okay. Because that's what I feel like I was struggling with a little bit. Because I was like, I feel the same way. I'm like, well, we have free will.
Yeah.
We have the power to, like you said, plant seeds and have a vision and take action upon it. But then does that mean that it was already pre-written? Like, you know, like this concept of like, God already knows everything's gonna happen in your life. So does my choices really have that effect on what I'm doing, or is this predestined to happen?
I mean, think about it this way. What if like there's something predestined to happen, but you still have to do something to make that, you know what I mean? So in a way, like God has laid out like this, you know, but it's not automatic. Nothing's automatic. You still have to do certain steps. So it's just like to the degree that you live up to it, that's the degree you're going to fulfill. Let's say it's like you have 100% capacity to do this, but a lot of people only live up to like 10%, 20%. So it's like, yeah, they lived up to what was predestined for them, but if they had done more, they would have had more of what was already prepared for them. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. So I just watched the new documentary on Sylvester Stallone on Netflix. It's called Sly.
I'm about to watch that.
Please watch it. Yeah. First of all, look,
Sly?
Yeah.
Okay.
So look, Sylvester Stallone, man, I was always a fan of him, but I forgot how much of a beast he is because people don't really realize that he directed, and acted in his own stuff because he couldn't get the roles that he was trying to go out for.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so he wasn't getting casted. He's always getting casted for like a thug or whatever. And he was like, man, I'm not booking the roles that like I want to see. Someone's gonna write for myself. So a lot of like Rocky 2, you know, Rambo, a lot of these movies actually came from real personal places, right? Real personal experiences. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because he said at one point in the documentary, he said, you know, for a lot of people, it's easier to be like, to have the potential for something and then to be like, man, if I would have that guy had, man, I would have did all that, versus just doing it.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to be like, man, yeah, I could have did this, but if I had, you know, it's like, nah. So like, to me, it's like, I'm bringing this up because I like the fact that I feel like the lesson in your story and learning about like how you know, position your mindset, you know, to manifest what's now happening in your life now. Yeah. It started from somewhere, but it's like because of a choice and a consistent action. Yeah. So that's why I asked the question, do you think things are like, you know, predestined, or do you think you have a control over it? Yeah. I feel like the answer to that was like, what I came down to was like, there's a difference between passion and purpose. Your passion is for yourself, but your purpose is for others. So I feel like your passion is what you're able to, you know, have control over in terms of destiny. Yeah. But your purpose, I feel like that's already pre-written for you. Like, like you discover your purpose, like more and more as you grow. You're like, oh, maybe I can do this, or I don't know. That's what I kind of came down to. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like a mind-boggling question. You know,
passions for yourself, purposes,
for others. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
it's very, and it's also like it's not like I feel like it's also interconnected too. You know, because even your passion, if I see like you being passionate about something, I'm like, dang, I need to step up my game. Like if he's talking about a short film, like, dang, he just did that. I'm like, I love that energy. I want to match that, you know? In a way, it's like a healthy competition. Yeah. I love that. Like, that's why seeing my friends, for example, succeed, I love that.
I love y'all chemistry together. Okay. You know, just as like friends, as a group. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are all just hella hungry. Yeah. You know, you guys are consistent in the work you are putting out. You know, you guys are setting a standard for, you know, what a lot of these dancers I feel like should continue to keep doing on social media in terms of creating your own brand. You know what I'm saying? Not having to wait for other people, not be at the mercy of a strike.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Man, if I didn't have what I'm doing now, like let's say it was solely relying on like acting and like SAG, like it'd be a tough time. That's why you got to have multiple avenues.
Balance, you know, that's why I feel like it kept me in my peace throughout this years, being able to have a podcast, you know, and be able to create other things I want to do. But it's like, damn, like, thank God that we have social media now. We can create those other outlets, because when there's strikes, it hinders everything. But there's a flip side to you. You want to act. Yeah. You're an actor as well. What's your long-term vision for yourself? Because I feel like a lot of dancers, you know, at some point in their life, they understand that like dancing is not going to be forever. Your body takes wear and tear. Yeah. Your body, you know, it catches up to you, just like any athlete. It can be boxing, football, basketball. Yeah. So it's like, what's like your long-term vision for yourself and what you want to do, you know?
Man, and this is kind of like going back to what we were saying, like the vision's been there, and I just know whatever I do, like I want to be the best at it. So whether being the best in acting means being at the top, then that's kind of like the goal. To describe it more, I guess, for like dancing is my passion, right?
Yeah.
So that will always be there. And dancing for me is just, like you said, it's passion is kind of like for you. So I will never stop dancing and like trade it for acting.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm always going to dance in my room, my garage, whatever. Like, but as far as acting, I do want to use dancing as part of it. So I don't know, looking at, there's a lot of people that inspire me, like watching like Brad Pitt, like Channing Tatum, like all those people. I'm like, you know, I'm kind of just like very simple in that way. I'm like, whatever they're doing, I'm just going to do better. To me, I'm like a visual person. I see certain like actors, Jake Gyllenhaal, for example, you just did a film with him, right? Like all these great actors, and I watch their movies. I study them the way I study dancers, for example. And yeah, I'm like, okay, what you're doing, take it up a level. Like, what else can we do from there? So you kind of set a certain standard, and it's really high.
Yeah.
So I just want to take it up.
One thing that I feel like you and I have in common, but there's a lot of things, but one thing I feel like we have in common is the ability of learning to learn.
Yeah.
Like that's like something you really have to work on.
Yeah.
Like being able to learn how to learn. That's why, like, for example, school systems right now, a lot of it's messed up, but the concept of it, of having all these classes, is to teach these kids on how to learn.
Bro.
Even if you don't like the subject, but you can learn how to do something that you may not like, but you can learn how to learn. I feel like there's healthier and better ways of going about it. There's a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, but my point is like, you know, when you as a dancer, you're doing choreography, bro, the rate that you guys have to learn shit at is so fast. Like, to me, it's fast. To you guys are like, no, that's what we do. I can get a script, 4 or 5 pages,
that's
run
what I'm
over
trying
it.
to pick up right
Yeah,
there.
and I'm like, oh, I'm already in tune with this character. I feel good. Like, I'm not even thinking about the lines because I'm so caught up in like what I'm doing and feeling. Like, it's just repetition. You know, so the concept of being able to learn how to learn is strong, and I love that you're just like, yeah, I watch these guys, I watch what they want to do, and I just want to see what they do so I can emulate that.
Yeah.
Now my question is, you know, through all your success, you've been able to build, you know, fans from all across the platforms. How have you dealt with rejection? How have you dealt with, you know, the process of like trying to get where you're at before everything started manifesting?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, honestly, like, to me, rejection is kind of like, it's there, but it doesn't really affect what I have to do. Whether I get rejected or I get accepted, whether I win or I fail, it doesn't change the fact that I have to keep going. So whatever it is, I just use that to like, okay, well, we just keep it pushing. If I get accepted and people love what I'm putting out, great. Like, it makes me feel better. But also, like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm learning to not rely on my feelings, because feelings come and go. And same with like rejection, like that. You feel down, like, oh, people don't like what I'm doing. Doesn't matter. Whether people like what you're doing, they don't like what you're doing, you still have to do better. So in a way, rejection could be good because it pushes you to the next level. You try to figure out, why was I rejected? Because but the rejection itself is not that important. Like the response of people is not that important. You are there to inspire people, but you have to not let that get to you. You know what I mean? If you walk by feelings, your life is going to be up and down, because feelings sometimes literally, like, where do they come from? Like,
feelings are what keeps you in the bed.
Yeah.
Literally, like, if you wake up in the morning, it's your mind that's good, but your feelings on how you feel is what keeps you in bed. So if you can overcome those feelings, I feel like it's the same concept. You know what I'm saying?
You even think like thoughts, like, where do thoughts come from? Like, somebody says something and it's just like in your subconscious comes out. So it's just like, doesn't matter. Your thoughts, your feelings, it's just like, it comes at you. What do you have to do? You stick to that regardless if you feel down or up. If you feel up, great. You have more energy. If you feel down, doesn't matter. You still have to do this. If you get rejected, you still have to keep going. You get accepted, you still have to keep going. It's like, you can't just plateau, you know?
So for the people that aren't as comfortable with that, right? Because I feel like it's a tough skin. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's learning how to deal with rejection. Essentially, you learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because at first, whenever someone first deals with it, it's like a shock. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? I made it that far. I almost got something and I didn't get it. And then it happened again and then again and again. And so it's like, how do you know, it's because I feel like that's like the life naturally for a lot of creatives. You know, a lot of dancers go on auditions, and you guys are auditioning with hundreds of other dancers.
Yeah.
And then there's actors who do the same thing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like
constant rejection.
You know, but one thing I feel like I heard before that was actually in the song by Russ, but it said, you know, the universe gave me a reward in disguise of a detour. You know, so sometimes when you deal with rejection, it's just detouring you to give you the bigger reward. And sometimes you might think that thing is it for you, and it's like, nah, it's not.
You know what? Like, you think that thing is true, but that was like, you know how like life is tricky. Like sometimes you see someone like, man, I really need that. Yeah. And then you don't get it when you don't realize that that was like the fourth best thing for you. Like God has like, he wants you to have the first best. Yeah. But you're just over here like, you want to take every first thing that falls into your hands. Like, you know, the first, oh man, yeah, no, this is it. You don't realize that there's something way better down the line. But you only can hold one thing, you know? Facts. So kind of like, you know, speaking of rejection, it kind of reminded me of a story. Because I experienced like a big shift when I was a kid. I used to be very confident. When I started dancing, man, I was like, I felt like I was the coolest person. Like I could just like, I will dance anytime, anywhere. I know it's going to impress everybody. That's how I felt. So I was like, I just felt on top of the world. And I'm talking about like, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. So I used to dance in classes, like at school, like we would pause classes just so I would dance. It was fun. Yeah. Now this one time I showed like, there's this dancer I was watching on YouTube, really tight. And I showed it to like one of my teachers, showed a video, and she was like, oh, it's like, I don't really like it that much. Just that alone planted like a seed in my mind. I was like, wait, if she doesn't like how he dances, then there's people that don't like how I dance. It killed my confidence. It killed like my self-esteem. From that day on, I did not want to dance in front of people ever. I was so like, people like, nope, not doing it. Can't dance. But I got so like in my head that it took me years to just like get rid of that. Damn. It wasn't even until like, after So You Think You Can Dance, even during that whole, so we're talking about from like, I don't know, 9th grade, I was like 14 years old until I'm like 18, 19, doing live TV. That's still part of my life, that problem. So like I had to cleanse myself from that. It was crazy, man, but it's just like, that's why you can't be just like, you know, rejection. Don't let that affect you. Like if you like something, do it, and it doesn't matter what people say.
Honestly, I love how you articulated that, just because again, with rejection, one thing that I've been really understanding is like, just let it, you know, roll off your shoulders. Yeah. And rejection, like you said, it comes in so many forms of ways. But hearing your story and you're like, man, I didn't even have the confidence because of what one person said.
One person.
You know, so now you're at a point where you may post something and majority of the comments be, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. And you get a couple comments that might say, this guy's ass. It doesn't matter now.
But you know what's crazy? Yeah. The people that say I love it, that also has to, if you care for one, you can't help but to care for those. So
I was just going to lean into that.
So you have to let go of both. It's kind of like, cool, like whether people love it or hate it, like it's good to know. I can use that to grow, but I'm not going to take that deep into my heart. Either one. Rejection is a form of attack, right? When people like hate on you, it's a form of attack, but praise is also a form of attack too. So when people praise you, like that could like ego, oh man, and that is the number one killer of everything. Like if you like let that ego get to you and now you think you're somebody, you know what it is? I heard a quote, I think it was Mike Tyson. He was basically talking about how someone asked him like, how do you deal with when people hate on you? I was like, man, I only like get mad when I feel like I'm somebody. Like who am I to just like, okay, if people say something about me, like what if I am? What if, like I'm not here to, you know, stroke my ego and be like, no, I'm this, like how dare you say this about me? Like, no, okay, cool. If I'm either way, like I have to get better. So maybe I am trash. Like I need to, compared to where I need to be. Yeah, sure. So either way, it doesn't matter. Don't think about it too much.
And that's what I was going to dive into. I'm glad you brought it up, man, because it's like hearing how that one comment affected you as a kid, you know, I feel like it's very easy for kids to get affected by that, you know, through social media in so many different ways.
Oh man, especially now. Back then, there was really no social media. Yeah,
we didn't have that. We didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So like I said, one person saying it to you is like, damn, like, you know, so like now it's come to this point where it's like, I'm glad that you brought up about the concept of not feeding into both, because that's how I feel. I feel like when you know how to balance, like, okay, don't focus on the hate, don't focus too much on the love, you create that peace within yourself, and that's where actually you consistently keep elevating, keep getting better. You know, so on a day when you're at your highest and you're feeling good, right? I feel like it's so easy to move. It's you wake up, you want to be, you want to flow. Now on those days where it's opposite, what do you do specifically to keep yourself grounded or you know, to keep that faith or to keep that focus where it needs to be. Because again, as artists, we're gonna have those days.
Yeah.
You're gonna have those days where, like I said, it's automatic, you're ready to go. On those days, you're like, dude, I am dragging my feet through the mud. But like, what do you do?
But this is where like power of habit comes in, because you can be up and down. Like with inspiration, that's what you're talking about. You wake up inspired, like it's easy to move.
Yeah.
But like habit will carry you where your inspiration will not.
Yeah.
And that's the power of consistency.
I love
when
that.
you have a habit, if I know that every day I go to the gym at this time, every day I train at this time, every day I read at this time, you know, then, and I do that for days, for months, it's no longer, I don't have to think about it. So whether I feel up or down, it's already in my system to just like, it's like a machine. Like I'm scheduled to do this. And that will create results on its own, which will lead to, you know, moments of success, which will inspire you, you know?
Yeah.
So habit.
Yeah.
Just do it over and over and over again.
The discipline.
Discipline. Yeah. Another word. I love that word.
Discipline outweighs motivation.
Yeah.
Motivation, inspiration only lasts for that like moment.
Yeah. I'll see people like, you know, social media, just like, man, yeah, I'm ready. Like this year, especially, oh my God. I love this.
Like New Year's.
New Year.
Yeah.
Oh man. Keep that energy throughout the whole year then.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I was never like,
marathon.
don't wait for New Year to start New Year to me. Like you only have today. Like do it right now. Don't give yourself, yeah, okay, so I'm just going to chill for 2 months and then I'm going to go ham. Like, no, in 2 months, you're not going to feel that. So if anything, if you feel inspired, great. Use that to be like, okay, now I am inspired in this moment. I'm going to carry that energy on. So yeah, and just stick to it.
Nah, bro, that's a bar. That's a clip. There, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that's a bar. I'm gonna make sure to clip that one, dude. I loved it, dude. And you know, just to kind of now pivot a little bit of a different direction. Some things in the dance industry right now, right? You, Fiction, CJ, a lot of these other dancers that are doing their thing. I feel like you guys in the industry are, you know, the new age, the new pioneers, right? In terms of, because back in the day, these old school dancers who were OGs, they didn't have social media. So they didn't have the same opportunities. They had to go and crash auditions. They had to go and do things that was a little bit more unorthodox to even be seen, jump on stage and fucking do something to get noticed. That's how my dad got his first tour. You know what I'm saying? He was from Cincinnati, Ohio. One of his boys was like, yo, jump on stage, get out. Come on, you can get off. But my dad jumped on stage, started going off. They brought him on tour. It's different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my thing is, it's like, is there anything towards the future that you want to start doing for the dance community, or things that frustrate you that you want to like try to fix, or you know what I'm saying?
I don't think, you know, trying to do something, trying to fix something, like the whole concept of like trying to like impact the community. I feel like when you try, that's when you do the opposite. So the best thing I can do for the community is just to keep going hard with what I'm doing. And then if that causes some people to turn their heads and be like, I like what he's doing, then they're free to do so. And if they don't feel like it, I got to keep going. So in a way, like the community can do what community want to do. You know, I'm like, to think that you have the power to change people just because you want to change them. I don't know. I think the best thing you can do is show by example. Yeah. So I'm just going to try my best to do what I do. And if it affects people, it inspires people, then they can do it. But I can't just change somebody. You can't. And that's why, you know, we were talking about free will. Everybody got their own free will. They can choose whatever they want to do. So it's not in my hands, anybody else's life. Yeah. Everybody's life is in their hands. And if they like what I'm doing, cool, you can like use that to your advantage. That's what I did when I saw people like Kobe Bryant, you know. I love like listening to him. What he did, like he showed an example. And then so now I can listen to his words because he backed it up. Yeah, you know what 100%. I mean? So that's kind of like what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like evidence. Like show me the money. Show me the evidence. Like show me that what you're saying has validity. I respect that. So that's kind of like, that's the only way to change somebody is through showing just evidence.
I love that. I think that's a great answer. Just because again, you know, you have all kinds of people right now in our age that are doing unorthodox things that weren't expected to. A person I'm gonna bring up is Jake Paul, right? Jake Paul, you know, is really advocating to become the first person to create a union for fighters. Yeah, for example, so where other fighters can actually get not just higher pay, but why is it that fighters are the only ones that have to pay for all their for all their recovery after, like the pay the coaches, like NFL, NBA, if you get hurt, they walk you back. They got the doc, they got everything. Fighters got to pay for stuff, right? So for him being involved in boxing, that's what something he wanted to change. You know, for me as a filmmaker and actor, I like to, the stories that I like comes to like my shows or my films, the stories I like to talk about is just showcasing the truth and presenting like, okay, for example, if this is Hollywood, here's all the good and here's all the bad. And then here's why people do good things and why people do bad things. Yeah. And I just want to showcase that just so people, whoever is watching it, can be like, okay, maybe in real life when I'm in my situation, this can remind me of something. Yeah. Oh, I've seen this somewhere. Then why is this person moving now like that? It's weird. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of, you know, create like a guide and essentially because that's my thing. So that's why I was just curious, being like, yo, do you have like a goal? Maybe I don't know if it's with like a business or just in general or just like what you want to do, things you want to create or, you know, that. But I liked your answer because you're just like, it's already, you're doing it. You're basically saying like, yo, I'm just leading by example. I'm posting it. That causes a wave, great. But my intention is to keep creating, which is different. You know,
you said wave, like this is something I've been like meditating on recently. Like with life, kind of like look at life like surfing. Like surfers, like they just see the same waves over and but somehow you can just spot like, oh, that one's gonna be 50 feet. You know what I mean? So kind of like with life, you can't force a wave. Like that's like you can't force nature.
So true.
Same with life, you can't force life. The only thing you can do is you can be prepared. That's where like everything we talk about, consistency, habits, discipline comes from. But then from there, you just got to be on the lookout. Also, people say when opportunity or when preparation meets opportunity, that's kind of like.
It's one of my favorite lines by Oprah.
Yeah.
I love that, bro.
So literally. It's kind of like that. Like you got to catch the wave. You never know. There's 20-foot waves. There's 50 feet, like 100. And it's like you will be known by that wave that you can ride. So it's kind of like with life. You just have to be ready and then spot it and you got to take it. So.
No, that's a bar too, man, because you don't know when the wave's going to come.
No.
You don't know. There's so many times where the thing I thought that was going to be the thing, it was something else, and God just showed me like, see, and that's how I kind of started really, not kind of, but I'm taking that word out of my vocabulary. I started doing my best to get out my own way. Like what I do now a lot is,
that's good.
Like I try this, God, this is what I want. This is my vision. I'm going to trust you however it happens. I'm just going to do the work. And I feel like that's where the difference is between people being successful and not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, sorry, before we move on from that, like, somebody said to me, like, the blessing that you expect, like, comes in the package that you don't expect. So, like, the thing that you want might be already in front of you. It's just not wrapped, gifted the way you see it. It's just like, that's why you were talking about, like, yielding, basically. Just like, this is what I want. But don't force it because maybe the way it's gonna come to you is not the way you think it will, and you're over here so focused like, no, this is how it has to be, and then you end up missing the train, you know. So the more you just kind of like, okay, I do my best, and then from there I just let go. That's where you just let it fall into your hands rather than trying to, like, you know,
100%,
or you kill it otherwise.
Yeah, nah, dude, that's again another bar. It's almost like that if you try to chase the butterfly, it's gonna go away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just be calling the clouds to come to you. And don't chase it, you know?
Yep. It's exactly that. That's really good. That's a bar.
Another clip. What's up?
Hey, clip that.
I was going to say, too, now, like, when it comes to, how can I say this? All right. You can walk out. Like, we know what this is like, right? Where you're just out and about, and people recognize you from something. Oh, I've seen you on this. Oh, I know you on this, or whatever, right? There's that, and then there's people who know you, know how you are, right? How do you feel like now manifesting a lot of the things you're doing now, you've had to operate and carry yourself now being in LA, especially around like women, you know, having to protect yourself and protect your energy from friends or people. Like, how have you had to like start realizing like, okay, it's like noticing the difference? Because have you ever been in a situation where like you're talking to somebody and it's like, oh, hella cool, and all of a sudden they see your socials and then they
switch up?
Yeah, and I'm like, shit. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. In LA,
yeah.
You see it all the time. As a matter of fact, I love to just like not bring it up.
Yeah.
So like sometimes I'll shift a little bit. Like I'll fly back to see my friends in Oklahoma, and we'll be just like, you know, in a group setting, and somebody asks me what I do. I just keep it very basic. Yeah, I dance, like I act. Never try to like show off my numbers, whatever. To the point where like I almost want people to like underestimate me that way. And if they find out, then cool. Like I feel like that has a greater effect. But I'm just, I don't know.
I'm like that too. I'd rather not know and someone tell you versus me go out my way to tell you.
Exactly. Yeah. But like if it's like in a business setting and like, you know, you need to do it and then it's appropriate, then that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But day-to-day stuff, like honestly, there's no point in showing off. And also people can smell through it. They can see it. If you try to like be like, I'm all this and that, it kind of just has a nasty like vibe to it. So I don't know, just keeping yourself grounded, I think has a better effect on people.
So, and you don't really party a lot, right? You don't really go out a lot?
No.
Yeah, because I'm like, you're not really getting caught up too much in the scene.
You know, I partied in high school. Like I lived in Vegas, partied a little bit. Even then, like I just never been the kind of person to do it too much, to like overdo it. I don't know. I've always just wanted to just be focused on what I'm doing, and those things will eat away at your focus.
The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I always find it ironic that a lot of my friends who are doing what they love successfully all have something in common where it's like they're obsessed with what they do.
You have to be.
You're obsessed, you know what I'm saying? And that's something I respect. That's why I ask, because like for me, I know I've had my party phase. I'm not gonna, but it was like within my business, because I was making money off of it. Yeah. So it was like different. It was like I'm monetizing what I'm doing. So I'm not partying like everybody else is. I'm making $30,000 in one night because of a party I'm throwing. You know what I'm saying?
That's different. Yeah.
It's like, but to me, I'm into going out and being social, because for me as an actor and filmmaker, I want to understand more about people. I started treating it like an experiment, right? Where I was like, man, like I feel like as an actor, I want to add more characters to my vault. How do I do that? Well,
experience them in real life. Yeah.
Experience, you know? So for me, I just like bringing up this conversation because I think intentions are important. But like, you know, I started going out I would go out, I wouldn't drink, I wouldn't smoke, and I would just people watch, bro.
Oh.
I would just be out with my friends, and I just want to see how people act in the clubs, how they operate, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm from LA.
Yeah.
I have a show that's based off my life that has to do with all this. I need to watch.
You need to know.
I need experience, you know? So, nonetheless, the only reason why I'm bringing this up, I'm researching, bro, and I really learned a lot, and I learned that the thing that everybody in Hollywood has is a personality mask. Everybody has something where, you know, you act one way in public and you act another way in private. It's so crazy to me. It's like there's only like a handful of people where I find where it's like they act the same way in both settings. Yeah, and that's why I rock with fiction, I rock with you. I have my other friends, and like I think it's important for people to realize that like it doesn't matter what you do, how successful you are, or what your labels are. Don't feel like the need that you gotta like. You get what I'm saying? That's why I'm just bringing this up, because I want people to really understand. Like that's why I appreciate about your character, bro. You're just like, when we first met, like this workout, we're talking about God, we're talking about all these good things, and I think it's important in LA to have a healthy group of people around you, to have team of people that elevate you and make you sharper and make you better. And was it always like that for you when you first came out? Was it quick when you're like kind of getting thrown into the scene, you're with everybody, or did you go through a period of like, damn, bro, I feel like I'm just like by myself, but I gotta just keep doing this shit until I attract the people I want?
Yeah,
you know?
Not gonna lie, like one of the greatest blessings in my life was like running into the right people. And I don't mean the right people that gave me opportunities. I just mean like genuine people who are like, they mean well. Yeah. I mean, you know, I have even like, you know, when I first moved to West Coast, I moved to Vegas, and that's where I met Fiction. And then from there, we just we clicked right away. Long story short, and we just been friends ever since. And then when I started making my way to LA, I also met like B-Dash. It's another like one of the closest people in my life. I met my friend 𝐓𝐤𝐤. So I have like core group of people that like, you need that, especially in like LA. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So like these are the people that I rely when I'm in my ups and downs. Like I can go to these people, I can talk to them, and they can like point me on the right path, like back, you know, so I don't get astray. If you are on your own, you're gonna get killed. You will. So like this is where you need like the right people in your life, and I'm honestly, that's like one of my greatest blessings is I have the right people to point me back to where I need to. Like I'll like on the right track, focus. I know they have my back. I have their back. Honestly, I never was like chasing after people. Oh, I need to be with. It's just like, nah. It's kind of the same thing. You chase after a group of people. You try to, I want to be with like the most, like the famous clique. You know, it kind of it turns into this whole.
It's high school.
It literally, I was about to say, it turns
so
into a
high school, bro.
thing.
Yeah, bro.
So for me, I think man, I can't, like, blessing is the only word I can say. I can't be like I attracted those people, or like I focus on them and like I met them, and it's just like, no, it's just when you have certain mindset, you like you just
like attracts like
kind of like that. Yeah. So I was blessed to meet people that I can trust.
And I feel like every, like, especially when it comes to men, I feel like we need like a very specific group of friends, bro. Like, you need one that you can talk to spiritually.
Yeah.
You need one that you can talk to about what's going on in your life, and there's gonna be happy for you.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so rare.
Just happy.
That's so rare.
Like not. There's no jealous. There's no nothing. They're just happy for you. You need the one. You need the one that you can be like, yo, some shit going down. I need.
Yeah.
Come with me. And there's like, yo, where we meeting?
Anytime.
Yeah. And then you also need the one, I feel like, that sits down with you and asks you about you. Like, you good, bro? And because I have my very close niche group of friends that I've, same thing since from LA. I've grown up out here. So it's like, and I have specific ones for certain things, and then I always ask certain people, like, how are you with your family, with your friends? And I just want to encourage people to, if you don't have those friends yet, those are the qualities you should look for in people, because especially if you're out here, and then if you do have those friends, y'all better be building. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that you and Fiction are always creating together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all just always create. I'm like, oh, it's iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? And like, everybody needs that comrades.
We was literally like working on concepts. Like, we're gonna do this, and that.
So what's your schedule usually like? Because you're pumping out content daily,
every day. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So do you like what's your formula in terms of like pumping stuff out?
Oh yeah. So I mean, there's certain things that like needs to be done, and it's kind of like. It's kind of a formula, but it is also like flowing at the same time. So, for example, like I don't film every single day.
Okay.
Even though, honestly, like that'd be great if I could, but sometimes like there's also work, like there's jobs. Yeah, there's also like life, relationships that you have to balance. But like I just know, for example, when I do go out and film, which will be a couple times a week, I will knock out as many videos. So a lot of people, they go out one time, like. They have their videographer or whatever, like they get like one video, they feel accomplished. Like, no, when I go out, I will get 10 videos done. Like 10, if I can get 15 videos done, I'll get 50. For example, I'm just going to give like an example that happened recently. I flew out to New York. While I'm there, I'm like, okay, well, let's just not make it all about chill and relaxing.
Get some shit done.
Yeah. So I met somebody there while I was collabing as a videographer, and we filmed. We had this location at the top of a skyscraper called the Edge.
Oh, like the windows.
Yeah, exactly. Dope, so bro. I was like, okay, I have this location. I have like an hour before they even open. I have time after. I can go down in the city, film some videos. We had to take a train, so we filmed in a train. So basically, at the top of the building, we got like 15 videos done.
That's vibes.
At the bottom, we got another 2. We were on the way to collab with somebody, so we literally got on the train. Train is empty. I'm like, bro, roll the camera right now. I turned my speaker on. Knocked out another video, got there, knocked out another video. So by the end of the day, I had like 20 videos.
2 weeks worth of shit.
No, literally. So I was like, and bro, all of that was in the span between 7 a.m. to noon.
Efficient.
So it's just like
working smart.
It's just like being able, but that takes like preparation ahead of time. I picked out the songs, I picked out the outfits, so you just have to be able to see opportunities. Like, so now that's one thing. That's just videos. You got to be able to see that in life. You got to be able to be prepared. For every opportunity. And if, let's say, for example, I only got one video done that day because everything failed, well, at least I was prepared. Yeah. So kind of like, day-to-day stuff. I will meet up with people. I will create like videos with them. With, let's say, I'm going to shoot in this location and I'm going to meet with this person. We have like, I have 2 videos with this person, 2 videos with this person. While I have these outfits on, let me knock out some freestyles. Let me see what else. Maybe we can do something together. So from there, I planned like 2 things, but I ended up doing 10 things. Yeah. So, and then I use that knowledge because that's cool. That's work, but it's very small. I use that for life now. Now I apply that to just opportunities. Like, okay, on the bigger scale, let's say I get a job, pays like a lot of money and they need more people on that job. Well, okay, well, I could just be content because I'm, I got my check, or I can bring in my friends on it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like those little things, attention to details, being prepared, transfers. And then as you take care of your people take care of you. You know what I mean? And just in general, you don't even have to expect them to take care of you. As long as you do your part, God takes care of you.
It's bringing the value. It's so pure, and that's why I feel like the best energy comes back in those situations. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I love the example you gave. You're like, man, if I'm on a job and they need some extra people, hey,
My people.
Fiction,
Yeah.
CJ, y'all free?
Exactly.
Pull up. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm sure they would do the same for you, because you guys all do the same thing. In terms of like elevating each other. You're thinking how to apply your work ethic into real life scenarios. It's taking like something that works here and making it applicable to this area. So you're like, okay, well, if I know that if I stay prepared in this little area, this transfers.
Yeah.
And it works. Just like everybody else. Everybody got their formula. Everybody has the way of creating things. I have a homie who does film 4 times a week, but they're doing the same thing. They do like short form comedy sketches, but they're doing like 6-7 videos a day. And I'm like, when I look at the pace and the rate that people pump things out, I'm like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you the only person in your family that dances? You're the only person in the business at all? Is there anybody else in your family that's in entertainment?
Sorry, you'll say something and it just made me think.
Okay,
so before we dilute,
good.
You were talking about like how one thing, kind of inspires transfers to the other. And something that I live by is like how you do anything is how you do everything. So how you do the small thing is how you're going to do the big thing.
100%.
You know what I mean? 100%. So I just wanted to clip that.
Yeah, quick clip.
Clip that before we move on.
Quick clip.
In my family, actually my dad, he did like traditional Ukrainian dancing.
Oh,
when he was,
What's that even look like?
It's called ħopák. It's like when you like squat, like
like
all
that,
like yeah.
Oh, lit.
Yeah. So he did that when he was about my age, and then after that, like he went to military, and then like he stopped dancing. But my whole family is pretty like focused on arts. My mom is an amazing singer. Oh my God, if she moved to United States like my age, she would have been like the next big thing.
So you had the support growing up then?
Yeah, exactly. And also I had the freedom too. They weren't trying to like force me into doing this or that. So because they gave me that freedom, I was able to have genuine, like, this is what I want to do. And when you have that genuine, this is what I want to do, you're able to go all out. If you're kind of like being forced into doing something, you can't go all out, because you're just like, I'm doing this for somebody else.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, so my mom was very supportive of it. My dad actually, I don't think he wanted me to dance when I was early.
Really?
Not gonna lie, I don't think he wanted me to do other things. Like he wanted me to like went to boxing, like do like the clearly the manly thing.
But to me, dancing is still a manly thing though. But
hey, man, it wasn't. Not everybody thinks that, but
my grandpa told my dad the same thing at one point. Before he first started, he was like, it's dance for sissies.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And it's like, nah, bro.
I don't know why that never affected me. I feel like it should have. It just somehow just out one ear. But I kind of, even young, I knew that like my dad didn't really want me to do that. But I was like, well, it kind of like hurt a little bit. But I was like, I don't know. I think I was too young to put dots together. I was just like, I'm just gonna, I don't know. But now he loves it, Yeah, because now it's like my dad, he loves all my videos, all his friends in Ukraine even like tell him about my videos. Not only that, because of like what I was able to accomplish in my life through that, I was able to like give back and like help in times of war and send like $250,000, just raise it.
Badass.
Yeah, not my money.
$250,000 from his bank account.
Not from my bank. No, that's the thing.
That's message.
Yeah. It was.
But you did a fundraiser.
It was a fundraiser.
$250,000. That's amazing.
So I can't take credit. Honestly, I can take very little credit for that, if none at all, because it was all people's,
support.
People's support. Yeah. In the situation. So, but it all kind of
being able to have your voice advocate for that though is the blessing.
Yeah. So I think my dad kind of saw the value. Like, wow, like after all these years, that paid out pretty well. So now he loves it. Also, like my stepdad, he was a big supporter of what I did.
Oh.
Yeah, he knew. So like my mom, my stepdad, like they just, I don't know how, but they just knew it was gonna work out. It's almost like whatever the vision I had, they just knew it was gonna work out.
Believed in it.
Yeah, so I think that kind of created like that gave me more confidence. Yeah,
no doubt. Exactly. Literally. Like sometimes I be feeling like my dad's more confident in me in what I can do.
You need that.
I'm like, damn, like it inspires me because I'm like, all right, just try it. Just give it a chance to almost end this off. Everything you're doing, like, who is this all for at the end of the day? Outside of you, because I know you obviously want to, like at the end of the day, you want to make sure that we can take care of ourselves so we can take care of the people I love. But like, who are you really doing this all for?
Man, that's a deep one. That you kind of got me started, like, because like the answer is very basic. Like at the end of the day, like you, like I kind of talked about earlier, like you've been put on this earth not to just take care of yourself. So outside, the obvious answer is I do it for my family. Like everybody, and by family, I don't just like mean like physical family. Like I mean everybody who I've encountered through my life who's close to me. You know, I'm talking about people like fiction, for example, or like B-Dash or like whoever. And then, you know, the obvious answer is like my mom, my dad, my stepdad. Like they were all there with me like from the beginning. So any kind of success that happens for me is gonna go down to them as well. But that's cliche. That's the basic answer, and
I don't
it's
think it's
true.
cliche.
But also like the answer is like it whoever else it affects, and then affecting that person is gonna affect somebody else. It all just kind of trickles down. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's kind of like this. I just do my best, and then I know it's gonna cause some kind of reaction. And so to the greater effect that I do great, the greater reaction is gonna be. You know what I mean? And then I don't worry about reaction. I just know it's gonna affect people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
No, dude, I think that's powerful, bro, because that's how I feel. Those type of things, like, because when you think about who you're doing it for, you start thinking about things bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
It's outside yourself. It stops becoming about you, and now it starts like it's about them, and then the momentum shifts. Every time I feel like I start trying to do something for me, there's growth, but man, I feel like my learning curve and the way things happen is so much different, and it gets expedited when it's for like the intentions for our family. Like I'm like, man, like,
that's a good word.
Grind.
Like
I'm gonna grind harder because I know if I put myself in this position, I can do this for my mom. If I grind harder, if I work smarter, I can do this for my dad. If I can,
I feel like there's like a multiplication factor that goes in. Like when you do it for somebody else, I feel like, because man, it is hard to not get caught up and just like do it for yourself, because that's just kind of like the human selfish nature.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I think that's part of everybody's life. Nobody is like free from like me, you know, like
yeah, you're not.
The thing is just like the more you shift your focus from yourself onto others, all of a sudden I see like an X, like a multiplication. Like now, if your intention is for somebody else, there's gonna be a greater payout. You know what I mean? I kind of like look at it like that. It's like a payout game.
It is, bro. It's again, it's service, bro. That's why I feel like I love the concept of passion and purpose. Passion for yourself, purpose for others. You know what I'm saying? Just before we wrap up, man, I like to ask these questions at the end of every podcast. What's some of the worst advice you've ever gotten, and what's some of the best advice that you've ever gotten?
Worst advice and best advice. Okay. Now, this one, this one you gotta hear what I'm saying. And when people say, "Just do you and be yourself," I think I don't want to hear that. Because if I hear that and I'm at like the lowest level I am, why would you want to be yourself and do you? You know, in a way, this is where you have to force yourself outside of that. That's the box. Do you be yourself? Like, no, I want to be something greater than that. So self-love also, like, great, it's good, but are you also loving others? You know what I mean? So what I'm saying can sound
bars.
Some people will hear one thing, some people will hear another thing. It's cool. I meant something when I said that. Now, the best thing I've ever heard, the best advice is, I think, do to others as you want to be done to yourself. I think that's like the golden rule of life. Like everything is a very big statement, and a lot can be summed up in that. So whatever you want to be done to you, do that to others. If you do something to somebody and like, you know, it's not good, like, don't get mad when it comes back to you threefold, you know?
Because it will come back.
It will come back. So I think the best advice is like, just do to others as you want to be done to yourself.
Man, I just want to go back on the worst advice part. The do you and just be yourself.
I just know some people won't.
I never heard it be put like that though, because you know why? But when you said the statement, it made me think doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is insanity.
Yeah, it's insanity. Yeah, that's
you know
the definition of insanity.
You're literally, so it's like if you're doing you and you're trying to be yourself and this shit's not working, switch it up.
You got to do something else.
Switch it up, bro. That's I actually want to remember that for myself. If because again, I feel like as artists, there's always gonna be a part in our lives where we're gonna be like, how do I pivot or innovate? innovate the keyword. You know what I'm saying? Because innovating is like how you become better.
Innovating, yeah.
And when you innovate, you have to step outside your box.
Yeah.
You have to think a little bit different. You're doing what you're doing, but how you take that thing to the next level.
Yeah.
And that's when you got to step outside your box.
Yeah. On the flip side, though, like, here's the thing. If you are on the right track and you are elevating, you can always do better. But if you're in that place and, like, do you keep doing that, then that's a different way of putting that. But a lot of times, like, do you, like, just focus on yourself? Do you, like, it just sounds very complacent. I don't know. That's the vibe I get. It's very complacent. So, no, don't do something different.
I get like a fuck you mentality from just do you, fuck everybody else.
Yeah. Also,
you know
I
what
don't
I'm saying?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Fuck everybody else. Like, no.
No, because then you're cutting the blessing. Because you're saying fuck everybody else, but what if that one person can introduce
What if
you to
that was
person?
the key?
It is.
What if that was the key?
No, it is.
Exactly.
Who do you think is booking these jobs, bro?
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna come from somebody. So you say fuck everybody, you're literally blocking your blessing.
Yeah.
It takes one person to open up a door and be like, hey, come in. All right, I love your work. Put him on the show. Y'all love him. He's dope. Put him in this movie. It takes one person. Everything I've done was at the mercy of somebody that said, I like him, cast him. They gave me the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I can't say fuck everybody else.
No, you can't.
That's why I like how you separated it. You're like, nah, if it's like, if you're at doing like not having progression and this ain't do you, nah, you need to switch it
You're
up.
not doing it right.
Yeah.
Because most people are in that place of like doing you is no, you need to switch it up.